Hello everyone and welcome to the Anime Xillia, and thank you for joining me as we talk about episode 6 of the Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's anime series. That's right, Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's is back after its break, and it comes back with a rather comedic episode, focusing around the Japanese food known as ramen. In particular, one ramen shop, restaurant, whatever you want to call it, that is due to close down thanks to pressure from a new business that's entered the shopping district. And one of the main focus points of this episode was trying to find a solution to keep this small ramen shop open as a result of this new high-tech AI-based restaurant stealing all of the customers. And this concept I really did like for two main reasons. Number one, it plays on a real-life situation and struggle in where new shops open up or new restaurants, and you have to kind of improve or evolve your own business in order to keep your customers from going to a new place or to try and attract in other customers and stopping them from going to the new fancy open place that's just come up. So I really did like that. And the second reason as to why I really like this is because it plays on Yuga's business and inventive side of his character. We all know that he's creative and he has some good ideas, but he also has some bad ideas. And this leads to both resulting in some good comedy, but at the same time, he does have a good plethora of knowledge for his age of things that might work, and he has some quirky ideas as well, which I thought added to the episode. And while we're on the topic of Yuga, did he plan to reignite the shop's owner's passion through rush dueling? Or, just a general idea of having two people passionately fighting over your product? After all, he states that he doesn't really like ramen that much, but he likes the ramen from this shop particularly. That's why he's willing to add the stipulation of getting the last bowl if he wins the duel. Basically telling the owner of the shop, look, your product is so good that I'll even fight super hard just to have it. And if that doesn't reignite the passion within the shop owner that's very deflated and very down in the dumps at the moment, then I don't really know what would. But from that aspect, I really did like it. Whether or not it was intentional from Yuga, we've seen him do these weird things where he's shown that he's a lot smarter and a lot maturer than he actually should be. So, like, for example, when he was dueling Rook in episode 2, he was actually recording the duel, even though the stipulation was if he lost, then rush duels would have to be kept a secret. So we've seen him do this type of thing before. So to kind of state that it was Yuga's plan to reignite the shop owner through a passionate rush duel between two people that were fighting over his product isn't that far-fetched or out of the imagination. But from that aspect, I really did like it because it adds new layers to Yuga's character and makes him a bit more unique, so to speak. The duel itself was okay, nothing really that special for me personally. I didn't really enjoy it all that much. We had some goofy comedy scenes from the duel, like Seven's Road Magician in a pot of soup. However, the dueling was it was there. In Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's, it hasn't been the main focus for me when being my enjoyment. I like the show more for the storytelling and the kind of meaning and focus that each episode possesses. That's what's got me hooked into the series of 7 so far. The rush dueling aspect, I'm getting used to it and I'm liking it. It's just this episode, it wasn't for me. The Ninja Kid wasn't too bad either. I like the fact that his character had some personality and felt different than your typical generic one-off character. So for that, pretty cool. Design-wise, not too bad. I like the joke that they stated where he introduced his personal info and then Roman was just like, why hide your face behind a mask if you're just going to tell us everything? The monsters that he used were kind of disappointing. When I thought Ramen deck, I thought, oh, awesome. We're going to have some unique, cool cards. Honestly, I don't know why, but I kind of thought that these designs I've seen somewhere before. But, hey, the spell and trap cards that he used were pretty cool, so I'll give him a pass on that. He does, however, mention two other friends in the, food world industry that he has. So this leads me to believe that maybe we'll see some more food-based decks or duels in the future, and that'll be kind of interesting because it can build on more characters and introduce us to new interesting characters, which I always like because it's world building. world building and character development are things that this show needs at the moment that I think would be pretty cool and I'm excited to see in the future. Kaizo was actually really funny in this episode. Yes, she's a sucker for a compliment from a cute girl, such as the running joke with Roman, using this to the team's advantage. I thought this was fun. It plays on Roman's character, adds her a bit more personality, and just showcases that, you know, she's got that little bit of smarts about her as well, which is always good. But yeah, Kaizo, I don't know what to say. He's been a source of comedy throughout the entirety of Yu-Gi-Oh! 7 so far, but I don't know, I actually found him quite tolerable in this episode. It was pretty good. Something that I did find rather interesting, though, was the fact that they revealed the area in which Hollow Man, you know, the guy we saw in episode 1, was resting, and it was removed. Now, we only saw reactions from YUGIOH and Ramen. Now, Ramen looks shocked / startled, but it seemed like an overreaction from my point of view. Like, looking at the facial expressions from what she did, she looked like she was a little bit kind of surprised before the camera panned to showing that it had been removed. But then when we came back to Roman, her face was even more like that. So I don't know if it's a show just kind of alluding to that she's a spy gimmick that they had kind of going around. I know that like people were speculating whether or not she has ties to GoHop Corporation, and that she was just showing a reaction for the sake of not looking too suspicious in front of the group. But who knows? It could just be anything. However, I thought it was a unique choice for the show to show us just Roman and Yuga's reaction and not anybody else's. So hopefully they can elaborate and kind of showcase a little bit more of that moving forward. Maybe they'll come back to it at a later date. Like maybe a Rook would call Roman out on something. And yeah, we just had to wait and see on that one, unfortunately. But I thought it was like an interesting thing and a good sort of choice of direction that they went in. Then again, it could just be me over analysing. Did you know that the opening has also been changed? The fact that we now see the face of the kid that was standing in front of that window in the opening, I think it's Roman's brother. I think that's the character. We now see his face anyway, and we see what looks to be his ace monster. So hopefully we'll see him in action and see what that character is all about really soon. And finally, the girl in the preview was I the only person that thought this little girl's would be the same character that we heard on the phone to Mr. GoHop in episode 2, I think, at the end? Or was it episode 3? Can't remember. But if you remember, we saw Mr. GoHop talking to a young girl. She said, "Rush-Jules are fun." And now we see a character here that comes straight after seeing the GoHop members sitting around the table. You know, in the preview, we see that, and then we see this young girl that looks very interested in Rush-Jules, and she's got that twinkly sparkle. So who knows? Maybe there's a connection. Maybe, maybe not. Again, we'll have to wait until next week to find out. Overall, though, I thought this episode was okay. It wasn't the best. One of the weakest, I think, that the series has had so far. But at the same time, it was still enjoyable. The comedy helped it through, and I liked the jokes about them not paying attention to Rook, and the comments about Yuga and Gakuto looking serious or like troublesome, suspicious even, so they can enter the AI shop. I thought that was fun. I liked the main focus that they had, like linking it to the real world and businesses and how a new business can close down smaller businesses, so you got to like fight your way and get your customers to come back. I thought that was a very cool aspect, so that helped a lot. But anyway, that's pretty much all my thoughts on episode 6 of Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, please consider hitting that like button. Subscribe to the Anime Xillia if you're new, so you never miss a video from me. I do Yu-Gi-Oh! Content and other anime content, so if you're a fan of both, then make sure you stick around and check out some of the videos at the end. Let me know all your thoughts on this episode down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. Even just goofy comments about characters. Always super cool to get your thoughts. Apart from that, I hope you have an amazing day. Alligator, matane. Goodbye.